Hello, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. This is DeFub21, and today we have, well, as is always the case with me, a new video game trailer. Although this isn't actually for a video game as in itself. It is specifically a trailer for the new Oculus Rift controllers. The trailer is called the Oculus Touch Hand Presence Technology trailer. I don't know if that's what they're calling them. I think they're calling them the Oculus Touch controllers, one way or the other. This is effectively, up until now, the Rift has shipped, or you get a Rift, you get is it an Xbox 360 controller, or an Xbox One controller with it. And this is going to be an added extra that gives you the kind of VR controller functionality that you get with the HTC Vive as standard. I watched the original Oculus press conference where they showed these two controllers off. Was it last year? I believe it was last year, and I thought they were pretty cool looking at the time. But I haven't seen anything about them since, so hopefully this will be pretty cool, or maybe it will, maybe it won't. But one way or another, we're about to find out. So I'll take your leave. We'll have a look at this, and then I'll let you know what I think afterwards. This is DeFub21 signing off for the moment. Toodaloo. Well, let's see, off the top of my head, two things. One, that was short, and two, and equally importantly, I have been unable to find a HD source of this video. The only version I can find on the official Oculus website is only available at the time of recording in 480p, and the trailer wasn't uploaded today, so that is in of itself a bit, to my mind, a bit odd, to put it mildly. In terms of the controllers themselves, it's pretty much, again, a typical trailer kind of slash advertisement, and it basically shows you their functionality. They do appear to be genuinely more capable in certain respects than the HTC Vives. They've got apparently an analog stick, face buttons and trigger buttons on both controllers, so they've got the button functionality of a conventional console controller, but they've also got the full kind of, well, the Wiimote would be fundamentally misleading to compare them to the Wii's controllers, because these things are genuinely very accurate and very precise. I believe they use mocap technology, which is used in motion capture in both video games and movies, to track these controllers as you move them, and they appear to be at least as advanced as the HTC Vives controllers that have similar functionality. But as far as I'm aware, I'm not completely familiar with the HTC Vives two controllers, but I don't believe they have analog sticks on them. I could be wrong on that. Let me know if you know in the comments. And what's important about this is that because it has the same buttons and the analog sticks of a conventional console controller, you can use it to effectively control the game as if it were a conventional first-person shooter, either with the headset off and just looking at the TV, or your computer monitor. Option 1, or option 2. Option 2, you could use it with the VR headset on, and you can play like a kind of VR first-person shooter where you can genuinely move about the place, so you're not just stuck in one particular physical location. So, I mean, it looks cool. The whole finger tracking thing, which apparently does work. It's not like true one-to-one, but apparently it does work, and it's reliable, and it's pretty precise. Not one-to-one, but it's good enough for a video game. For tracking, your thumb movements, your finger movements on both hands simultaneously. That's pretty cool as well. So it is a pretty impressive piece of kit. There is, however, one crucial negative, and that crucial negative is that this is an extra cost. One of the main advantages of the three systems out there right now, The Oculus Rift is kind of the one in the middle. The HTC Vive is more technologically sophisticated. I believe it has a higher spec screens in it, although I could be wrong on that. And it's got, because it has multiple sensors you place around the room with the HTC Vive, you full 360 degree tracking of your movement and of the movement of your headset and the controllers you have with the HTC Vive. It's a very high level of fidelity in controlling, in tracking your movements. The Oculus apparently isn't quite that good. Which is one of the main drawback of the Oculus, but as a result of that, it's not as finicky to set up and it is cheaper. It also is higher spec than the PlayStation VR, which is the cheapest VR system that's not currently available, but it's out. I believe it's out in the next couple of months, max, I believe. Or is it next month, or it's sometime this year? And the HTC Vive, the PlayStation VR has the lowest resolution screens of them. I think they're 1080p. There's no 4K or anything else like that, and it uses PlayStation Move controllers for the three-dimensional controllers like what these do, but again, they're not as technologically sophisticated, and they're still pretty expensive. Apparently it's like 50 quid each, so like you're like 100 quid for two of them, and considering the technology at this stage must be 5 or 6 years old, that's pretty expensive. But getting back to these and the Oculus Rift, these two controllers, they're 199 quid. Straight out of the box. I assume that's a combination of the cost of the controllers, and by the indication of the trailer, you need two of those Oculus front sensors for them to work. I think the Rift only ships with one. So basically, if you want the same level of experience you get from the HTC Vive with the Oculus, you need to buy an Oculus and you need to buy this separate controller kit for another 199 quid. And that gets the Oculus Rift up to a similar cost to the HTC Vive, eliminating its cost advantage against the HTC Vive, and it still doesn't have full 360 degree tracking, sensor coverage, and by extension tracking the way the HTC Vive does. So it's a bit of an interesting position for Oculus to be in. Again, it's a case of, it's been in, I think the Oculus has been on sale now for, although they've been delivering them now since the beginning of the year. So we might begin to see cost reductions in the cost of the Oculus itself, but whether that'll happen or not, I honestly don't know. As for myself personally, for that kind of money, I could replace my motherboard, my RAM, and my processor, and with some seriously, decent Intel i7 kit. And that right now, certainly in terms of my own computers, I've got effectively a VR ready graphics card. The GTX 970 at the time was considered the bare minimum you needed for proper effective VR on PC with the HTC Vive or the Oculus. So I assume that would be enough for that. But again, from a more conventional gaming standpoint, I'm beginning to see PC games, AAA games that are mandating higher spec, minimum processor requirements that are higher spec than my CPU, which is an i5 3570K, if memory serves, when I built my machine originally in 2012 is when I got it. So it's a few years old at this stage, and it hasn't begun to age badly yet, and hopefully DirectX 12 will cut back that demands on the processor, giving a bit of breathing room. But right now, I'm planning on buying a PlayStation 4 Pro. I have no interest in the PSVR headset, and VR in general, for me, it's still too expensive, and the money could be spent on much better hardware. I could buy myself a significant upgrade to my TV for that kind of money. I'm using a 1080p screen that I got in literally the day after Christmas Day and St. Stephen's Day, or Boxing Day as they call it in the UK, 26th of December 2007. Pre Lehman's, in other words. I'm still using that TV. It's been almost 8-9 years at this stage. It's it's not an LED backlit TV. It's an older thing. It's got 60 frames a second, decent enough refresh rate. Or what's the word? Response time is like, it's milliseconds, and it's fine. But again, for that kind of money, a new 4K TV, a completely, that's enough money to get me a new motherboard, RAM, and an i7 processor. So it's still too expensive for me, and for a lot of people like me, and me being a hardcore gamer, that is, not a good sign for a long-term sales of those three systems, if you ask me. Anyway, I've been nattering on for a bit too long, I think. Let me know what you think about this trailer and about the Oculus Rift in general in the comments. I'm gonna have there's a couple of new trailers for Oculus Rift games coming out that I'm gonna do in the not too distant future as well. So look out for those. And again, if you like this video, like it. Let me know what you think about VR in general in the comments. Let me know if you've got a PC spec similar to mine, and again an i5 3570K and a GTX 970. And let me know if you've got that spec and you have a VR set of some sort, and let me know how it performs, or if it doesn't perform, or if you've got VR at all, let me know your thoughts on it. And if you don't, let me know your thoughts on it in the comments. Again, like this video, and if you haven't already subscribed, please do so. I can always have more subscribers. This is Defub21 signing off. Toodaloo.